I wanted to record a little video going over exercise 10 and what you need to do to complete this. So I have the document that I created for you to be able to type into your answers to the questions. So let's look at the first one. What demographic variables are measured at the nominal level of measurement? So this wants me to tell them what are measured at the nominal level, which would be that category or labeling level of measurement. And let me go ahead and look at I have the book open in a different tab, so let me go ahead and look at that. I actually have two screens, but because my window to actually record is smaller, I'm going to have to kind of toggle back and forth a little bit here. So here is the chapter that goes over the information that you need to answer those questions. This is called exercise 10, and it's giving me information from this study, which is what I need to answer the question. So to do the first question, you need to just look at the information that they're presenting here and the variables that they're collecting. And we've got information here in the text paragraph and then also in the table. And look at those variables and which ones were collected as at the nominal level, so that labeling or category level. Now I know if it was collected in a way that I have a mean of 65.9 years, for example, that's not nominal, that's interval ratio, so that's not one. But look through and find the ones that were collected at the nominal level, and that's what you need to do for that first question. So the second question says, what statistics were calculated to describe body mass index in this study? And it wants you to apply were those appropriate. So let me look back at the study, and they have body mass index. And what statistics were calculated for body mass index? So here I'm reporting a mean for my intervention and my control group. So body mass index would be calculated by taking into account height and weight. And I have a mean being reported. And then look through the rest of this information and see if there's any other information being reported for the body mass index. We would typically have a standard deviation or some other measures to tell us about the variability also being reported. So number 3 were, and also this one wanted you to answer, were these appropriate? So that's just your opinion. Do you think that they needed to give more information, or does that give a good idea of what the statistic looked like? Number 3 were the distribution of scores for BMI similar for the intervention and control groups. So we want to read the information and apply it. That's a lot of what these assignments are trying to get you to do. So you look at the BMI for your intervention group and the BMI for your control group. Let's see if I can highlight both of those. So we're going to look at those two. Were they similar? Were they not similar? What do you think? It's just kind of personal opinion on that interpretation of what is being reported. Was there a significant difference in the BMI between the intervention and control groups? It's pretty similar to the previous question, but we're looking to see if any difference is significant. So there may be a difference that's small, but that could still be significant. So read through the description of the study from the authors and see what they have to say about that. Based on the sample size of 41, what frequency and percentage of the sample smoked? So again, we're going back to this table, and we've got all this information reported here. And it gives me the percentage that were, or the number rather, that were non-smokers. So non-smoker would be 21 and control group would be 21. So I can take the reverse of that, right? It's telling me how many were non-smokers, and I want to know how many were actually smokers. So take the reverse of that, and then if you need to, calculate the frequency. And now, let's see, number 6. What measurement method was used to measure the bone mineral density for the study participants? Discuss the quality of this measurement method and document your response. So what measurement method was used to measure bone mineral density for the study participants? Okay, so I'm going to go back to that information that's being reported, and it's not going to be in the table, it's going to be in their description, where they're going to tell me how they did their study. So let's look back at the description and see where it's talking about bone mass density. And here it's telling me how it was measured. So that's my information that I need here for number 6. And it also wants you to discuss the quality of the measurement. So do you think that was a good way to measure it? Should they have measured it a different way? That just wants you to apply what you've been learning and your prior knowledge about health to what they did in this study and see if it's appropriate. What statistic was calculated to determine differences between the intervention and control group for lumbar and femur neck BMDs? So I want to look at the lumbar and femur neck BMDs to see what how those were being compared. So when I look back at the study results, and I'm just going to read through the results and see what statistics are being reported. So I've got means and standard deviations. Those aren't going to tell me, that's not the statistic to do the comparison between the two groups. And we're still learning about this, but one of the ways that we compare two groups is with a t-test. And so I see in here that they did a t-score. So that's going to be the way that they looked at that. And then it wants to know if the groups were significantly different. And so this gets into how we determine the significance or non-significance of a statistical result. And typically we're going to consider that a result is not significant if the p-value is greater than 0.05. We want to have a low p-value to determine significance. So the authors sometimes will tell you directly in there whether it was significant or not, and also you can compare their p-value to 0.05, and if it was lower than 0.05, then we're going to consider that to not be significant. So I would find in here where the authors are talking about significance of that result or where the p-value is being reported. Let's look at number 8, see what we need to do there. Number 8, the researchers stated that there were no significant differences in the baseline characteristics of the groups. Are they heterogeneous or homogeneous? So are they similar or dissimilar at the beginning of the study? Why is this important in testing the effectiveness of therapeutic lifestyle modification? So I'm going to look at this and apply this information to see if the groups look similar at the beginning of the study. So I'm looking for characteristics of the group like age, weight, BMI, lifestyle, diet, and I'm looking to see if they're similar or dissimilar. And so just look at this and apply that. What do you think about these statistics being reported here? Similar or are they dissimilar? And then come back to the question. It also wants to know why it's important. Well, if you're doing an intervention to look at whether or not a particular program works, why do you think it's important that the groups be similar on other aspects, other lifestyle aspects and personal characteristics, and have a difference on just the modification program that they're getting? Why do you think that would be important? So just give some interpretation there and your opinion. So number 9, they state that the adherence rate to the TLM program was 99.6. Discuss the importance of adherence and document your response. So one of the major problems with studies is loss to follow-up, or patients don't comply. People start the study and then they kind of drop out of the study, and you maybe start with 40 people and end up with 35 because you've lost people as the study goes. So why do you think it's important to have people adhere to the study, and how would that affect your study results? So give some analysis and opinion here. And was the sample adequately described? So I'm going to look back at how the sample was described by the authors, the information they give in that table, and then also in the text. And do you think they gave you enough information about that sample to be able to know what it looked like, or did you need more? So that's just your opinion, and give some analysis there based on the information being presented. So hopefully this helps you understand a little bit better what you need to do for exercise 10.